That's right, Captains. That sound means it's time for the work in progress first impression review of the Royal Navy's Tier 10 destroyer, Daring. Now, as she is Royal Navy and a destroyer, she of course comes with the single launch torpedoes, but unfortunately right now, her only other options to launch her little triangles of fury is widespread. Boo! Because if you know Fetch, you know I have a serious problem with the single launch torpedoes and trying to actually hurt somebody. I mean, I have to get lucky enough to maybe hit some poor SOB in smoke and maybe roll onto that cruiser behind him who wasn't paying attention and maybe even dink a battleship or two behind him for the kill. But with the widespread option, why? Why do you need that with the single launch torpedo? Because you can cast a huge wide net with your single launch, aim at maybe a radar, a little cruiser that's going to try to give you some problems, and you stop some smoke, let's just say, and you can maybe connect with once, maybe 2 times even, or even a third time with your wide net single launch torps for the flooding kill. That's right. Oh, beautiful. Now that is the first of 2 changes I'd like to see, Captains. Get rid of the wide, give us narrow and single launch, please. Now, of course, her main weapon of choice are her dakka-dakka-dakka-dakka guns, but you do need IFHE. IFHE is a must, as you're seeing right here. I'm running without IFHE, setting a lot of fires, but look at all those breakages in a row. Oh my lordy. Now, of course, I swap up to the AEP on the broadside and really start to reap some of the damage pens and rewards finally for the kill, but IFHE is a must. But fret not, Captains, for those fearing the loss of your fire chances, because it's still going to happen. The amount of hot lead that you're going to be throwing down range, you are going to be starting a lot of fires and reaping the rewards of the IFHE damage supplemental income like I did on that GK and like I'm doing on this poor SOB Izmo. This is going to be my 3rd fire I lit on the Izmo with my IFHE Daring. And of course he runs away. I light 2 more fires and finally get the kill. I don't burn him, but I actually just get him with the gun. It is obscene sometimes what this little Daring can do with her little pew-pew-pewers. Now, of course, when you put them all together, you launch and say 4 torpedoes into the butt of a Yamato and say, I'm going to save you for later. Meanwhile, I'm going to work on your Montana buddy down below. Laying into him with some pretty decent AP performance numbers right there. Nice 2000s, and 700. Oh, crap. AP all the way, Captains, into those broadsides. Even at farther ranges, AP can be quite viable, but as soon as they start showing any kind of narrowness, you gotta swap up to that HE, especially with the IFHE in tow. You are still gonna rack up some nice numbers and hopefully a fire or two before you swap up to his Yami buddy and try to finish him off. We're gonna throw some HE at him because we might be able to start some fires again, maybe before we swap up to the AP, and yes, we do. AP then all the way. Watch these damage numbers though, and watch this Yamato just melt down with the AP Fury and of course that fire in tow, because he burned his damage con already. We all know that. We saw them torpedoes land as such a beautiful package that this Daring brings to the table. And yeah, he tickled me a little bit, in the smoke, which is fine, but he's not gonna be around much longer, at least not in this game. Finally to the bottom. Oh, when you put it all together, Captains, this Daring is quite a nasty little mamma jamma. Now, I do not recommend sailing around in open water and going pew-pew-pew all the way. I don't have IFHE on this one, so just FYI. But I tried pew-pew-pewing in the open ocean, and you don't have speed boost as a, as a module, and you sit really high in the water, which means you're going to take a lot of damage when the big boys hit you, and they will hit you really hard for almost all my health. Holy crap balls. And then even clean up with a second close quarter expert out of Montana. Oh, how embarrassing. That's right, Captains. You don't have the speed boost consumable, but you do have long-lasting hydroacoustic search, which helps you see those little fishes of fury in the smoke and get skinny. Because you're going to get spammed a lot as you spam your little HEs in your smoke. I don't recommend sitting in smoke, but sometimes it's going to happen and you will be a target, and this Hydra will help you mitigate taking torpedoes. I said help. It doesn't always happen. Oh, boo. But it is going to help you for those times when you're just potato enough to not hit your hydroacoustic search. Cool as ice and steady. Now, I did find the majority of the British destroyers to be pretty boring, and because they're really more defensive destroyers, because they don't have all the bells and whistles that all these other guys do. They have hydro, but the hydro is pretty useless up until this daring. The hydro for them is mostly about just, I don't know what it does. It barely sees torpedoes beyond their base detection range already. So I'm really at a loss. But with this daring, it actually goes out to 3.9 kilometers, coupled with a decent, concealment whilst firing in smoke, which means if you get a little jiggy, get a little aggressive, you can maybe pop, around this island, pop some hydro, see the poor little Yu Yang, keep him lit, and then light him up with your dakka-dakka-rat-tat-tat on his little butt and send him on to his next game, like right now. Oh, it's glorious. I really enjoyed getting physical, getting aggressive with this daring, and getting stuck in, kind of channeling my inner Atlanta captain, like we did with this gearing right here. Got a little help from our friends, of course, but man, he had no chance. And then even when those little DDs say, "I've had enough of your crap, daring, I'm coming for that butt," the dakka-dakka reload rate of fire is just magnificent when you go full adrenaline rush. Look at the bottom there, 1.6 seconds, 1.7 seconds. Holy crap balls, captains. This poor little Kiev, he's so pissed off, but what are you gonna do, man? Put him down. He was frothing at the mouth. Oh, but you got to be careful with your dakka-dakka, because they are super fragile, and you will get both of your front guns knocked out quite a bit. I luckily I've been able to lose them permanently, but getting them incapacitated happens more often than not, which is why I'd like to see like the third gun have a 360 little swivel. But when you can channel your inner Atlanta captain like I am on this gearing, I mean, I will just sit back and enjoy this poor spectacle that I unleashed on this poor little scumbag. He finally hits his damage con, thinking I'm going to escape, disappear into the ether, but I got 16 volleys in the air. We take him down Atlanta style. Oh, I really enjoyed being aggressive with this boat, even though you sit high in the water, even though you're the slowest thing out there, even though you don't have the speed boost. Getting stuck in with your 5.7 detection, which isn't the greatest, it's going to help you to really get out there and bop your fellow DDs out of the game early and then run for the island cover. But be careful, because look at that armor, captains, on your main battery. 6 millimeters. That's not a typo. Your flags have better armor protection than your main batteries, which is why I'd like to see that butt gun get a little bit of love and turn 360. We'll get a little bit stuck in that in just a moment, but oh, you look at the numbers. 5.7 is what I said. It's nice. I found it to be quite useful getting jiggy early on in that first phase of the engagement to try to either melt and knock out a DD or at least hurt them severely. But you have to be warned, because your AA isn't the greatest, and as you are slow, you are susceptible to the sky cancer curing the seas of destroyers. So you have to be warned on that one. Be very, very wary. Now, base reload right there is 2 seconds. We'll get into that in just a second. Switch on over to my upgrades. You can see I don't run the third slot because it didn't really help me any, but I picked the fifth one, and that is the main battery reload, which is going to help you bring it down to that 2 second rate. Ooh, we're going to get into that in just a second. Now, your consumables, no speed boost, no defensive fire, nothing except hydro, which is pretty nice. 3.9 is what I said is the max right now. It's not going to do you any good if you come across a low Yang or a Z52, because they will out hydro you and knock you out of the game. But for everybody else, oh, it is super sweet. Coupled with that 3 minutes that the hydro is going to be up for, you can get a lot of damage done with your little dakka-dakka guns. Something fierce. It's just glorious. It's absolutely glorious. I'm really enjoying playing this sucker. Now, with that reload rate, with that module, the base reload rate is 2.5. You slap the module on, it takes you down to 2.2. And then with your captain skills, you take BFT. At least I did. I tried many different builds, and this is kind of the one I'm settled on almost all the way. I picked BFT, and that brings it down to 2 second base. Add adrenaline rush and a little bit of tickles in the bad way. You're going to go sub 2 second reload for your main batteries. Now, I do have survivability expert right there, but I think I might swap that up to go for superintendent, because because I found myself running out of smokes and hydro more often than needing the health pool. The health is nice, but I like the smoke and I like the hydro, getting aggressive on these little scumbags, and of course then, you know, spamming and hearing the battleships cry. But IFHE is a must, and I think concealment is as well. Now for that second one, a little bit more, I think the butt turrets need a little bit of love, developers. From tiers, I think 5 on up, let that butt gun turn 360 degrees. And most of the times there's just like boxes and poles sticking in the way. Like, chop down that flagpole and let that sucker turn 360. And if for a ship like the Daring, we can only drop the widespread, go for narrow and single launch, 360 butt gun, I'd be really keen on trying that version of the Daring out. But other than that, as she is, I am enjoying this ship. All right, captains, well, that was my work in progress first impression review of the Royal Navy's Tier 10 destroyer Daring, a ship that I have really enjoyed playing, but would like to see those 2 changes I've suggested implemented before she gets released to the masses. I think the 360 butt gun, that's just a no-brainer for me, especially looking at the rest of the Royal Navy line thus far. So many of them could use that. And then of course, just get rid of that widespread. Nobody needs it. We don't want to use that. Give us the narrow and the single file and we'll be good. We don't need the speed boost. I've not really found a need to have the speed boost. Maybe a couple instances, maybe here and there, but it's a different kind of playstyle we're going for. I think I'm feeling what the developers were trying to accomplish, at least with this Daring. The rest of the Royal Navy, I'm not so sure about the destroyers, that is, but with this Daring, I've enjoyed that game style. It's big risk, but big reward when I'm channeling my inner Atlantic captain and going after them scumbags and being able to actually use my hydro. As you're seeing from those score screens, it is getting done, and I'm really enjoying playing it. She's super fragile, as you saw from that poor Montana. It's not the only one. We got a little stupid, chesting her out in the open water, but I'm really enjoying playing it, and I hope just a little bit of changes before she gets released to y'all. But in any case, tell me, captains, what you think down below in the comment sections about the video, about the Daring, what you're thinking, and what your thoughts moving forward with this Royal Navy line. But in any case, captains, I hope you all enjoyed the video, so thanks as always for watching, and until next time, I'll see you either in-game or in-stream. Have fun, fair seas.